And here we go. Welcome to Monday night. It is 7 o'clock. The main event is one day late because we had to watch your Tampa Bay Buccaneers put a hurting on the Carolina, whatever their names are.
Kitty
Panthers. Hey, listen, by the way, one of the most exciting days in recent football memory. NFL playoffs are set. Today was cut day for head coaches. Tonight, we got Alabama versus Georgia 2.0. And as a special guest tonight, we have the main event 2021 Fantasy Football Champion. In the words of the Chief, it is time to saddle up. Let's go. This is the main event. What is that, dude? What is it? No, you got no outfit. You got no.
No, this is what everybody was posting yesterday after the Bucs took the second seed. They were all,
Oh,
I'm trying to cool down the Bucs, man. I'm trying to cool them down from that second half.
Oh my
kid.
gosh.
TSG. I don't know if that's possible.
I'm telling you, it wasn't. It wasn't. It was nice. I was there.
You were at the game. What'd you see?
Saw a lot, man. I'm going to tell you what. Fans were exciting. They were loud, especially when Carolina's offense was on the field. They were very loud. And I had a pretty decent seat, almost 50, 40-yard line-ish, bottom of the third level. But, second level is that's big money down there, We haven't I haven't got my paycheck yet from the main event, so I had to kind of go with the third level.
Whoa. Wait a minute. We get paychecks?
Well, some of us
We
do.
get a paycheck.
we get a K1. That's all.
Hey,
we get.
so
hey, tell
so
me.
for-
I want to tell me about the fan experience. Okay, so I mean, listen, that first half, no one's going to go back and rewatch that first half on purpose. As a Bucs fan, and so what was had to be a huge change in the stadium. I imagine the energy level had to get really high on that. It had to be a tale of two halves, right?
Yeah, you're exactly right. So the fans started off like going nuts and crazy. Everyone was super excited. The weather was great.
Yeah.
So it was awesome. We were pumped. And then they started to play. And we're like, all right, 3 and out. Okay, all right, it's all right. And then it kept happening. And, I'll tell you what, the fans were starting to get a little bit restless, right? Here's people starting to mumble.
Yeah,
And
so were the fans at the Pooh Bears.
yeah.
yes.
They're definitely getting restless. Like we were ready to, string somebody up type restless.
Yeah.
Things were thrown.
Yeah.
Garbage
you know,
cans were kicked.
No trash cans were harmed.
Oh wow.
It just didn't seem like
listen, when
offense-
you think, listen, we got a lot to talk about the Bucs. So can we put a timeout on that for a second
Okay.
All right.
before we go too far down that road? Because we
Yeah.
have a special
Yeah.
guest.
Yes.
Oh yes.
So Pooh Bear,
From our main event league. So we've been doing this league for what? Darn near 20 years or
I
more.
bet 20 years.
Maybe
bet
more.
20 years.
I think it's more than that, in all honesty, because 2000. Yeah, it's been so we've been online since 2001 because that has to do with my username. And
Well, there you go.
So yeah,
So
we were doing it with newspaper before,
Yes.
And
And this particular gentleman we're about to fight in was actually our commissioner for a long time. We would have to phone in
yes.
your box score stats to him or fax in. So
Right. Oh, wow.
this year's champion, Mr. Paul Richardson.
Hey, boys.
Well done, Paulie.
Thanks, guys.
Well done,
Oh, is this
Paulie.
your first time? It's not your first time winning this thing, is it?
It is not, but it's a first time in a long time. I think I won the first or second year, and then it was a long and distinguished
Oh wow! So
drought.
you haven't won in 20 years.
Well, you know what? He also has the distinction of being the guy that will draft the number 1 overall pick, and that's the same individual who will get hurt the first week of the preseason or something.
I am known for that. Yes,
that has
Christian
happened to
McCaffrey,
him. I think
thank you very much for that. So
he got hit
yes.
with Adrian Peterson one year.
Yes.
I think Mark Bulger one year. I mean, just a
yes.
Who was your number 1 pick this year?
So number 1 pick this year was McCaffrey.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Wow. Yeah.
Yes.
so
Yeah. I think he was my number 1 pick last year.
Yeah.
And he didn't play all the games, but I was still the fantasy football champion. Which, by the way, I won the fantasy football championship last year, and you guys didn't make any fanfare about it.
Yeah.
well, you know.
Yeah, but
now we're making a big deal about Polly winning it.
Yeah, but
we forgot to play the bumper though. We forgot to play the fantasy bumper though.
No,
We
that's
did
all
forget
right.
the bumper.
That's
I love
all
that.
right. That's all right. But yeah, it's been good. It's been a long time coming, but hey, here we are.
So, Paulie, what was your draft position? What do you remember? Where were you drafted in this?
I was either first or second because McCaffrey was there, and then
No.
the key this year was with the quarterbacks. You know, when you have the quarterback from Buffalo and Arizona, and then I picked up the running back for Seattle the last week of the season, and he got like 30 points. But
wow.
I was using the old IBM matrix and put him in there, and everybody had guys on IR and stuff like that. But
Yeah, I happen to know that you won your divisional playoff game by less than a point.
yes, Andrew Brode is still mad at me to this point. He won't talk to me on Facebook, So
No,
yeah, it was that was close, and then
no, I was in the other matchup, and I lost by a point as well. So between the two of us, both those games were decided within 2 points.
You both are good and butt hurt over that, so we're sorry about that. So
it is what it is.
It is. But you boys are looking good, looking dapper, looking forward to it. Yeah, Cliffy, it's got to be 20 years, 21 years. I mean, back in the Valrico days. That's crazy.
So my draft grade this year was as high as I've done in a long time. I think I made like a C- on my draft grade. This is, Yahoo just doesn't like the way I play. But what was your draft grade?
So my draft grade was a B, and I think the first 2 or 3 picks, Yahoo, they like that, but then you go down the board some, and some of us that like to draft a kicker in the 4th round, or the old former soccer players like B Love was, or whoever. Yeah.
Whoa! I didn't draft a kicker in the 4th round.
So I remember you drafting Martin Gramatica like 3rd one year. So that was I knew we weren't in too bad.
That must have been my very first year ever playing fantasy football, and I didn't know what I was doing yet.
Yeah.
But by the way, Polly, so it's in 20 years you've won the league twice.
Yes.
20 plus years. By the way, I've won it like 4 times.
I know.
And I've been playing much less than you.
Well, that's what an auto draft will get you.
Yes, exactly.
But has the Chief ever won fantasy football?
Oh, I've won it 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Maybe.
I got the trophies online to prove it.
But yeah, it was a blast. Not so good in my league up here, but and had McCaffrey up here too. So, but anyway.
Oh.
But anyway, it was a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
So we don't get to carry any players over in our league, but if you had a player, who would you carry over?
Oh, I'd carry over Kyler Murray for sure. He's going to absolutely kill it next year. I think the Cardinals will still be good. Or
McCaffrey.
Buffalo, either one. That's what won it. I mean, I had 2 good quarterbacks all year.
The
Who's
problem
your
with
other quarterback?
McCaffrey is you don't know whether he's going to play week in or week out.
No,
McCaffrey-
Kyler Murray was hurt for a few weeks this year.
Right.
Yeah, but he got back in. I mean, McCaffrey. I mean, that guy. I don't think in 2 years. I'm not sure he's played 5 games. And I was watching a story on him the other night, and they were like, "We can no longer build this team around him.
No,
he just can't count on it."
Hey,
his last 2 years have been hurting.
I'll segue you guys. I know you guys at some point in the show are going to talk about NFL head coaches, and maybe you do that next. But everybody up here, in North Carolina, is wondering how many hours Matt Rule has. So he's not been one of the 5 or 6 or 7 or however many are gone. But he's on the chop too. So
I think Matt Rule just hired a new offensive coordinator, right? I think he's okay. He's going to survive this year.
he may survive this year, but if they win 4 or 5 games, and of course the Cam Newton experiment coming back, that didn't help him either. So
No, that was a bad call.
Well, I mean, they didn't have a whole lot of options at that point.
No.
You know,
absolutely not.
So,
no.
Absolutely.
Matt Rule, I would not rule him out. Pun intended there.
Yeah.
He's a that guy has won everywhere he's been. He's a good coach, and there's a huge learning curve going from college to the NFL. I really think that the NFC South is going to be very, very competitive next year. Of course, the Saints are going to get. It's hard. I can't believe I'm going to actually say this, but I'm not even going to say his name. The Saints are going to get their quarterback back, which is unbelievable. And then I think that the Panthers are going to come on strong next year. Who knows what's going to happen with the Falcons? And I have every reason to believe that the back-to-back Super Bowl champion Buccaneers are going to be okay.
Oh,
Well,
That's right.
Somebody
You
knock
heard it
on wood.
first. You heard
Somebody
it
knock
first.
on wood.
for all you homers,
Wow.
if he
Somebody
wins it this
knock
year,
on
though,
wood.
if he wins it this year, does he hang them up? I mean, that's what you guys have to wonder. I mean, you just wonder.
So we've had some pretty serious conversations about that.
Hey, Paulie, if he does, that's when they go after Russell Wilson.
Yes, why not? Yeah, he'd be a perfect fit down there. Perfect fit.
What about Aaron Rodgers? They can go after Aaron Rodgers.
No.
No, I think Rodgers hangs it up after, good, bad, or indifferent this year. He wins the Super Bowl, he's definitely gone. But he's not going to. He won't go to Tampa. But I do like the Russell Wilson piece.
So we could conceivably see Roethlisberger, Brady, and Rodgers all retire this year.
Yes.
Wow.
I mean, it's not likely. It's not likely, but it's conceivable. It's possible.
It's time for the new guard.
That's
Poor
a
Ben Roethlisberger can
huge.
barely walk. He can barely walk.
That is a huge portion of NFL history right there between those three.
Hey, here's a little piece of not only fantasy but football information. So Cooper Kupp was 17 yards behind the all-time receiving yards behind Calvin Johnson. Guess who the quarterback that threw to both of those guys were? Matt Stafford.
Matt Stafford, yeah.
So there you go.
Wow.
There you go. All right, boys.
Well,
Paulie,
yes,
thanks
sir.
for jumping in. We know you're finishing up a work day.
I am indeed. So you guys kill it. Good luck. Don't think the Bucks will have knock wood too much trouble this weekend, and maybe the Cowboys win too.
Ears.
So and remember, the Packers stumble next week, and then the NFC goes all the way through Tampa. So there you go.
Great.
Boom.
That'd be great.
Let's do it.
All right,
Thanks,
Paulie. Thank you.
Congratulations,
All
man.
right, boys. Hey,
Hey, buddy.
appreciate y'all.
Stay
Take care
warm.
now. See ya.
All right, good segue there by Paulie bringing us into yesterday's Buccaneers game. So, as we were starting to talk here before we went to Paulie, so some of us were together, some of us were at the game, some of us were like by themselves, secluded. So the group that was together, which included Matty Ho, we were pretty upset. Although you guys have us to thank, we did do some things that turned the game around. So you're welcome for that. We're going to keep that a secret because we don't want, Philadelphia to know, how to do the thing, right? So we're going to keep that a secret for now. We'll tell you guys later.
I'll make sure it's available for next week too.
But here's the deal. Going into the end of the half, we finally get a touchdown and we get the ball back in the second half. And that's really where things turned around. So, Chief, I'm going to start with you. I'm sorry, not Chief. TSG, I'm going to start with you real quick. You started to share this a little bit. We're going to talk offense, right? So, one of the bright spots of the game, actually, after a slow start and being held to nearly no yards in the first quarter, the offense came out and absolutely had a dominating performance. What did you see overall?
So here's what I'll say. Our coaches and Tom Brady do make some great halftime adjustments. And by the end of it, we had over 400 yards of offense. Brady had 130 QB rating, over 300 yards passing. He threw 3 touchdowns. He broke multiple records. The story of the offense, though, was that Gronk had a monster day. He followed by a pretty good day by Mike Evans. And then multiple receivers contributed, which was really important with AB no longer on the team. And we had to do it by committee. And some guys like Rashad Perriman and Tyler Johnson stepped up. They both had 5 catches each and added a little over 80 yards in receiving yards between the both of them. And also, Scotty Miller contributed to the run game. It's a good thing because Keyshawn Vaughn did not have a great day. He only averaged 2.5 yards a carry. I think he might be injured and still going for us. So, but Scotty Miller did, get 2 runs in there, added a lot of yards, which put us up to a little over 80 yards rushing for the day and kind of, gave us a respectable day in rushing yards.
And he got a lot of those in one chunk.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's so fast. And Brashard Perriman had a great catch as well during this game. So I think our receivers are stepping up. They're getting there. It is Carolina. When we face the Eagles, they do have a much better defense, defensive line as well, which is what gives us a hard time. They do have a couple better DBs, so we'll see how that goes. But Le'Veon Bell also managed to contribute as well a little bit there. He scored a touchdown.
His only touch.
Yeah. No, he actually had a two or three touches. He had a receiving catch, and then he had a couple of running yards. He actually ran for 4.5 yards per carry for two downs he ran. But anyway, so thank God for the Gronk and our second half, adjustments. They do a good job. I'd like to see him start, a little bit faster.
Yeah, it's very frustrating that this team on both sides of the ball does not seem to come out in any given game ready for the game.
Right.
Yeah.
We do not do a good job of game planning. We do a good job of adjusting.
Carolina marched right down the field and scored in their first possession. I think they had a fourth and short they went for on that possession. And
they also killed us on 3rd and long over and over and over again. On 3rd and
we have
long.
A problem with running backs, our quarterbacks that can run, and guess who's coming to us next week?
Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts.
He can really run.
All right, so you guys are walking all over my segment here with this information. I got to rewrite it now, but I'm just gonna roll with it. You're stealing my thunder here. Hey, first of all, I want to say, people say 3 and out, that's okay. That's not okay. I don't care. When your offense takes the field, 3 and out is not okay unless you run the clock out. That's just the end. Okay, so almost under those circumstances, am I okay with 3 and out? I'm going to tell you this. You guys are talking about, I know over at where y'all were at yesterday, things were bad. Let me tell you how bad it was over at my place. And it was just me, My son left the house. He's like, I'm out. I'm leaving here. I mean, it was not a good time, that first half for me. So, I mean, first of all, I'm missing out on everything that's happening over there, so I'm not in a great mood. Although I did get Pooh Bear Eats delivered to my house, and I want to say thank you very much, man.
Pooh Bear Eats.
That was really good. So anyway, I don't want to get off track here, but I'm going
to have some of that as soon as we get off of this show, by the way.
Hey, I may or may not have taken one of those slices of pork belly and made it and stuck it on the skillet this morning with some eggs and bacon. Dude, anyway, so I'm off subject here. Okay, so yeah, hey, that first drive against this defense was embarrassing. I mean, they took the ball and they drove it down our throat. They ran the ball on us. They passed the ball on us. By the way, I don't think anybody is afraid to run on us anymore. 6 weeks ago, we had number 1 run defense in the NFL. We're still number 2 as far as the run defense goes. But even yesterday, on a team that wasn't throwing the ball very well, 219 yards, they only ran the ball. They did get 100 yards rushing against us yesterday. We continued, man. It's like people look for me to say something different every week, but the fact of the matter is that we continue to have problems containing on that defensive line. I'm sitting here watching Tyron crashed in on multiple plays. I get it. The sack's a good play, but the fact of the matter is, and I would love to sit down and talk to Todd Bowles about this to find out if that's what he's supposed to be doing. That's how it's drawn up, because it doesn't seem like it's working great to me. Or is he just getting sucked in as in the moment, and he's crashing down, and then guys are going around him. 2 of the 3 top tacklers on this team were defensive backs. Same as last week, by the way. Again, defensive backs, not linemen, not linebackers. But it was, a matter of fact, number 1 tackler this week, same number 1 tackler as last week, our safety, Winfield.
Wow,
so
that's bad.
Dude, when your last line of defense, that's why they call him a safety. When he's your number 1, tackler, I mean, thank goodness he's good at it. I would love to see, this team, start, making, and some of it has to do with the fact that guys are getting around. They're up to a full head of steam. So before you know it, it only takes 2 steps, and you're at the linebacker level. You take that 3rd step, and they're chasing you. I will say this: we did see some really good defended balls yesterday. We had linebackers, reaching out, stopping balls. We had defensive backs knocking balls down. So I was pretty impressed by that, because that means, first of all, it means they're starting to undercut the routes. And I know it has to do with the players that are available.
Yeah. And Chief, really, one of those touchdowns that we gave up, the defender was right there. He just didn't hit the ball.
It was just over him.
So, defense reacts. Defense has to react to everything. And when you throw the perfect pass to the receiver who's in position, that's an undefensible play. I mean, the only way you could do that for that man there, the only way he could do it is if he was 6 inches taller, because he was in the perfect position. They're going to score. The object is to, obviously outscore them, and one of the ways you do that is by your defense makes them, score less. So I am excited about this week coming up, though, because, we had a couple starters not play. JPP wasn't in there. Shaq Barrett was not in. Was David?
Levante David did not play.
He did not play. Correct. Again, 3 out of 11 starters. Key plays, 3. Those are Shaq Barrett, Pro Bowler.
Those are starters on every team in the NFL right now. All 3 of those guys will start on any team.
Absolutely. They are game changers, each one of them. And we're going to have, by the way, listen to this. We're going to have our full strength defense, barring COVID or an injury this week, for the first time since week 1. And that didn't last very long, because Sean Murphy-Bunting, went out with that, horrific elbow injury, early in the game.
Ooh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, really and truly, we have not seen everything that this defense can do until they take the field against the Eagles. And I'm excited for that.
Yeah.
Question for you. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Pat. I was just saying we'll get into the playoff matchup here in a second, but
what about Nelson, Chief? What did you see out of him, that defensive line?
Man. So he's a great player to watch, and he was beating his guys, and he was getting penetration. So he was, and he had a sack right up the middle, if I'm not mistaken, early on.
Mm-hmm.
That he's impressive for a guy that he's only I can't remember exactly. I think he's 255, something around that. He's one of those guys that I honestly feel could put 20 pounds on, and man, now you've got yourself, just a wrecking ball. So,
well, dude, if he wants to put 20 pounds on, I can show him how to do that. I'm a pro.
Listen, you can. I had a guy come to me one time, and he says to me, "Hey, man, can you help me bulk up?" And I said, "My man, I do not know the first thing about getting shredded, but if you want to bulk up, you've come to the right guy,
right place."
My man,
I can definitely help you out with that, man. Definitely help you out.
He's 5 sacks on the season for Nelson. That guy, he's got limited playing time.
By the way, was anybody else shocked? Was anybody else shocked to see that this team was 3rd in the NFL in sacks?
No. Oh, by the way, the Bucks. You thought they were going to win? You thought they were, Vita Vea.
No, he thought we were worse than that.
Oh, no, I thought he thought they were going to be number 1. Is that what
you're
saying?
I thought they were worse.
Oh, wow. Okay. They just signed Vita Vea to a 4-year extension.
Yes.
Pretty excited about it. And Vita Vea, by the way, was playing yesterday like a man who was happy to get that extension. When he was one-on-one, he was just bulldozing people over. That's the only way. That's the best way to describe him, as a bulldozer. When he's taking, when you're double teamed, I don't know that anybody consistently beats a double team, but at least you're taking 2 guys out of the play. So I'm really happy to see that the Bucks, ponied up and decide to lock him in for 4 more years.
Well, I also think it's smart to do it during a season. We're not, not having to do all of this stuff during the off season, and that's when feelings get hurt, and I'm going to hold out and the whole 9 yards. Hey, just go ahead and take care of these guys, right now. Chief, you said that you were really excited about seeing the defense play this weekend against Philly. On the offensive side of the ball, who's going to play running back?
Oh, Fournette will be back.
You think Fournette will be back this Sunday?
Yeah, he's coming back.
Fournette's on track to be back for the playoff game on Sunday, so that shouldn't be a problem. So between him and Le'Veon Bell, and then this new unveiling of Scott Miller as
Scotty
a
Miller. I was about to
potential
ask why
backfield
isn't
threat.
Yeah.
You know, and Chiefs been banging this drum for a little bit. Maybe the Bucks are holding back some stuff. You know, that Todd Bowles and Byron Leftwich have hidden some of their playbook. I haven't seen that, but we saw a little bit with Chris Godwin, the end of rounds, but it looks way different with Scott Miller doing it. That kid is fast.
He's so fast.
Not that Godwin is slow, but he's just not as fast as Miller.
Yeah.
So there may be some truth in what Chief's been saying.
Hey, we got Scotty and Mike, little suckers.
Little sucker.
That is the line. That is the line.
And if you don't know
and those
about
guys
what we're
over
talking
there,
about, go look. We've got a main event Tom Brady parody rap song. You got to see, over 20,000 views. Go check it out. It's on our page.
Yeah, we got to go. All right. So what else do you guys think? What else do you guys think about this matchup this weekend with Philly?
I think they definitely need to get those. They definitely need to get those linebackers and defensive linemen back, because Philly loves to run the ball. They love to do the RPO, the run pass option. You're going to see a lot of Jalen Hurts running around back there. They're definitely going to need those speedsters with Shaq Barrett and Levante David back and up front, be able to stop the run, because it's going to be. That's how if the Eagles are going to win, that's how they're going to win right there.
So yeah, interesting enough. Trap game. I kind of see this as a trap game. You know, the Eagles, are coming into this at 9-8. That's barely getting into the playoffs. That's barely a winning record. And I really hope that the Bucs don't let their guard down on this. I know I heard Tom Brady at his speech saying that don't overlook these guys. These guys are a professional football team. They're coming to beat us. And man, I hope the rest of this team, pays attention to that message, because you can look past the Eagles. I think you could look past them real easy if you're not careful.
Listen, there's a Twitter.
Remember, we played them in week 6, and the game was probably a little bit closer than you think. We only beat them by 6, and we came out strong. If you remember, we were up 14-0 on this team.
Yeah,
they're a better team now.
Yeah.
They play well. They've figured some things out. They're playing well. They've done well at the end of the season here, so they've got some confidence.
There's some Philly fans out there with a Twitter account who are already claiming this is a revenge game for 15 years ago when the Bucs shut down the vet, Rondé Barber and them. If you remember that,
I want to remind them that not only did we shut down the vet,
we
hung
up the
a
new
loss
place
on them in the new place.
That was the NFC Championship game, by the way.
Yes, it was.
That's the year that we won the Super Bowl. And, correct.
I still remember
we were disrespected. Yeah.
Intercepting from the other end of the field, from the other end, cooking it all the way back for a TD to put the ice on them.
Yeah, we were disrespected that year because we had to travel on opening day as the reigning Super Bowl champions to Philadelphia. And that's
to open up a new stadium.
To their new stadium. We hung an L on them right there too.
Yep.
Yeah. The only, the good news is, we've hung pretty well against the Philadelphia football team. There is a matter of a World Series that didn't exactly work out for us.
No.
But other than that, football we got.
Hate the Phillies.
Yeah. But so we also knocked away our old can't win in less than whatever degree weather it was too in that game. So we shred that. But JPP, I know you said we need to get some defensive linemen back. But JPP's shoulder, his rotator cuff, he is just not the same guy with his shoulder like that. He's a liability out there. So we're probably gonna be stuck with a lot of Tryon, which is he's good, like you said, Chief, but he's got to start playing like you're talking about, and have that containment. The sack's a great play, but he's got to, not let that containment get broken.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll tell you what, after, it's been a long week talking about AB.
Oh,
right. And it's kind of nice. Like, you haven't seen a whole lot today about AB. Finally, I guess there's some news stories that are better than that one. Man, what a week that has been. I mean, we left this show last Sunday only having some pieces to what happened. one of the things that I said to somebody, because there's been a lot of news reports about, he was supposed to go to some doctor's appointments while he was in New York after the Sunday game, and he blew both of them off. And the Bucs were willing to do the right thing and say if he was injured, they were going to pay out the remainder of his contract. I've also heard reports, somebody shared that the night before the game, the Saturday night before the game he walked out on, that he might have had some extracurricular paid activity in his hotel room. I think some reports about that had come out. And one of the things that would really surprise me is, like, this guy don't know better, is then he started talking cheese about Tom Brady.
Yeah, not cool. Not cool. The guy brought him into the team, put him in his house, and now this. By the way, he's talking about an ankle injury. He's running off the field. He's doing jumping jacks on the side. I don't see an injury there, man.
Here's my thing. Here's my thing about that. Like, one, did he check in with the trainer? We don't know what went up with that. But here's my thing. All of it could have been repaired up until dude took his pads and his jersey off on the sideline. Yes. Right? If he'd have just sat on the bench and chose to deal with it, even if he'd have dealt with it shenanigans all through the week, it could have still been repaired. It was irreparable, if that's even a word, at the point he took off the pads and the jersey and he walked out.
Right. Once you started acting like a toddler, that's when you got treated like a toddler. Okay.
Yep.
So your argument up until then about what they wanted you to do or what you wanted to do or what's been done in the past, it's all gone, all out the window once you start showing your hind end like that and leaving the field in that manner. You should have gone to your position coach and said, hey, BA wants me to go in. I'm too hurt. Check in with the training staff. Same thing. Hey, this ankle is bad. I can't go. Check in with your offensive coordinator. Somebody. If BA told you got the field, that's fine. Why are you going to listen to the rules now? You didn't listen when they told you the vaccination shot. You didn't listen when they told you not to bring a hooker to your room. You didn't listen when the Raiders said, hey, switch out your helmet. You didn't listen when they said, don't freeze your feet off, you idiot. Now you're going to listen.
I forgot about that one.
Now you're going to listen to the coach because he says to get off the field. No, you're done. You're done.
Here's the one good thing that could come out of this is by talking cheese about Tom Brady. Tom is famous for what he does with a chip on his shoulder.
Yeah.
And this could have been a catalyst that drives this dude all through the playoffs. And if that's the case, I'm okay with that.
I got something that's going to make you laugh, all of you laugh. On his podcast, AB, he's had just weird stuff go on his podcast where you see responses from these guys when he's like, who's better than me over there on that team? Who gets it hopping? And the other guys on his own show that he brought in are going, well, everybody. You think these guys would be sucking up to him? And then AB on another podcast, on his podcast, he says, let's have a moment of silence for AB. And literally has a moment of silence on his show for himself.
This guy is such a clown.
Dude, he is. Come on, man.
This dude is such a clown. I don't know. I'm happy.
Hey, y'all. Hey, guys, main event. Let's have a moment of silence for TSG, please.
Listen, TSG, take off your shirt and leave.
Yeah.
Wow.
You don't want that. You don't want that. I just had dinner.
Yeah. So anyways, certainly an interesting week in regards to AB, but this team responded pretty well. So, man, I tell you what, how about one of the most exciting days for NFL football I can remember in a long time? I was sharing with you guys earlier, the Chief and I, we met for a brief workout this morning, and while he was struggling with a couple of push-ups or sit-ups, he was telling me about how, one of the things about this NFL thing is every single game counts.
Mm-hmm.
And Chief, I think we saw a couple of instances of that just yesterday.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, let's talk about the Rams. The Rams, they lose the number 2 seed because they can't hold on to that game yesterday. If they win if they win one of those games, throughout the year, it doesn't really matter what we do. They're out. The Steelers got lucky with that tie that they allowed to happen 14 weeks ago. and the fact that they were able to squeak in. But the Bucs, for crying out loud, I mean, when you look at who the Bucs lost to, we lost to the Saints twice, which Saints are a really good football team, but without a quarterback the second time, got shut down on that one, shut out. And we lost to the Washington football team, a team without even a mascot. I mean, which we lost to those guys, not a playoff team, by the way.
No. Neither were the Saints. We lost to the Rams.
Oh, and the Rams. Okay, the Rams. The one game. I'm going to be okay losing. It was to the Rams early in the season. We had some serious. We had a lot of injuries at that point. We had to travel to the West Coast. Things were not going our way early on. So that one I kind of understand because the Rams are a really good team. But the rest of them, if we win any one of those other games, guess who gets the number 1 seed?
We do. We're number 1 seed.
Yep. We do.
Yep. Yeah, I think you saw a lot of games come down to that. I mean, how about the Jacksonville Jaguars knocked the Indianapolis Colts out of the playoffs yesterday?
How pathetic are the Colts? I mean, all you have to do is beat the worst team in the league.
Yep.
Yes. Legit the worst team in the league.
And you're in the playoffs. Just
without
beat the worst team.
Yeah, and a team without a coach.
So that was pathetic. But kudos to the NFL for doing the flex schedule to get that set up, right? So we were all kind of scratching our heads.
We quit watching the Bucs game to move over to the 49ers.
We were cheering for the 49ers.
We were cheering for the 49ers.
In my house. That's never happened before. But kudos to the NFL for doing the switching around. We were all kind of scratching our heads when we first heard the Bucs were getting flexed to 4:30. We're like, who wants to watch the Bucs and the Panthers? That's horrible. But then we realized that, this is because of the setup. They're making sure that all those teams that are vying for those final positions don't get a chance to scoreboard watch and rest players or vice versa. So kudos to NFL getting that done to where every game at 4:30 was just as important and entertaining. They turned out to be perfect. And that game last night, oh my gosh, that was entertaining with the Vegas and
I've heard a lot about it. Like apparently if that game would have ended in a tie, both of those teams would have made the playoffs.
And Pittsburgh's out.
And Pittsburgh would have been out. But Las Vegas chose to kick a game-winning field goal, which didn't change their playoff status any. Didn't change their seeding any. And they chose to kick a field goal, and that put whoever they were playing out of the playoffs.
Chargers out
out of the playoffs.
So very, very interesting, very entertaining. That's for sure.
Which I know you're disappointed about, Pooh Bear, because you thought one of the bright stars of the NFL season was going to be the quarterback from there.
Well, and he was. Justin Herbert, I think he was 5th in the league in yards and touchdowns. I mean, he is a budding superstar in the quarterbacks. Between the draft class last year with Burrow and Herbert is turning out to be fantastic. Those two guys are going to be the Brady and Rodgers of the next 10 to 15 years. Maybe not with that kind of success of the 7 Super Bowls. That's a little tough to do. But Herbert and Burrow, if Herbert gets some help with the run game and a little bit of defensive help, and Burrow, we're going to see that this weekend, see what he can do. I think this is going to be very exciting for his chances to continue on the playoffs. I think they're playing the Steelers first.
Yeah. How good is the NFC
Raiders?
West?
They get the Raiders.
I mean, the
it's
NFC
like the
West.
AL. It's like the AL East of Major League Baseball,
dude. 12-5, 11-6, and 10-7, and even Seattle Seahawks are 7-10. I mean, that's a tough division over there. Them boys are good.
Yeah,
But I agree.
Those are teams that have been building for years. They've been, up and down, number 1 draft picks here and there. And that's what competition does. It forces the other team. Like Seattle was the class of that division for the past decade.
Yep.
And that forced the Niners and the Cardinals to kind of come along, build your program, and look, here they are. The Niners have been in the playoffs, went to the Super Bowl just a few years ago. They're coming back. They're in the playoffs again. So yeah, you're right. That is a tough division.
Yeah.
It's gonna be some exciting football.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, so today was Black Monday, I guess, for NFL head coaches. We saw a number of coaches lose their jobs. I count 6 vacancies right now in the NFL. The Jacksonville Jaguars, the Miami Dolphins. Was anybody surprised about this cut?
Yes.
Chief?
I would. So let me back up for a second here. I have a cousin who is a Cincinnati Bengals fan. Okay. Only Cincinnati Bengals fan I know. Okay. And all Marvin Lewis did, and we got to go back a couple years now, all Marvin Lewis did there as the head coach was win 10 games every season and go to the playoffs. And then he lost first round of the playoffs every year. And my cousin just wanted to get that guy out of there in the biggest way. He wanted to get him fired. That guy's got to go. He can't win a playoff game, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so eventually they do it. And the Bengals haven't been good for I don't know how long until this year. Okay, my point is it's hard to win in the NFL. So I got a couple questions for you guys here. Okay, Bill Parcells, Hall of Fame coach. What do you think his winning percentage overall is?
65.
56%. Tom Landry.
65.
61. I'm seeing a pattern here.
You're
I'm
setting
gonna hit
this
one
up.
of them.
Don Shula.
100% 1972. I know that.
Yeah, okay. 1 year. Hey, that helps his average, my man. That helps his average. Don Shula, 67%. Okay, nobody cracks the 70% except for one man. One man, we
Belichick.
talked about him last
Belichick.
week. No, not Belichick.
Really?
John Madden. John Madden,
Oh.
75%
Oh, that's
wins,
right.
by the way.
Yeah, he
Madden.
walked away. Yep.
Wow.
Belichick, hold on, I got it right here, man. I'll tell you what Belichick did, what he's doing. Maybe I won't. I'll get back to you on that. Oh, here, Belichick. By the way, Belichick 66% wins.
It's pretty good.
So
Pretty
that
good.
is pretty good. My point
65.
is close. You're closest without going over. Congratulations. So my point is, when you've got a guy with a winning season, the Dolphins 9-8 this year, playoffs, by the way, the last 2 years. Thank you, Paulie, for that nugget. You don't fire that coach. I don't think things get better for the Dolphins next year. Just doesn't get better.
Nope.
Essentially, he was doing the job of an average NFL coach, maybe even above average, because he's won more than half his games this year.
Yeah, and like you said, he'd won 8 of the last 9.
Yeah, dude, huge. Who does
That's a
that?
pretty hot hand, by the way.
Who does that
That's
besides
a
Tom
pretty
Brady?
hot hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So super impressive there. I don't fire him. I think the Dolphins are in for here's what's going to happen with the Dolphins. They're going to get some push as far as PR goes with this. There's going to be some buzz. As soon as they take the field next year, all that falls flat when they don't win. So
yeah, a program like that, it seems to me that the only reason you fire the coach is if there's a philosophy indifference between the GM and the coach. Like if the GM and ownership says, hey, we want to become a running team, and he's like, nope, I'm sticking with this guy. I'm definitely going to be a passing team. Then that might be a reason to fire the coach. But like you said, with the winning record, clearly this is a personnel issue. I don't think Tua Tagovailoa is the guy for them. I didn't think much of him when he left college anyway. If they could get someone like a even Roethlisberger for the year, maybe to get into Russell Wilson sweepstakes for the trade, they're going to be in a position to succeed next year. They just need a few players around it. I mean, they're not Super Bowl ready with one player, but they're closer than the Panthers or the Jaguars or some of these the Lions for certain. So yeah, I think this was a mistake. Mr. Flores is going to find a job, no problem, somewhere. Matter of fact, the Jaguars sounds like a good place for him to go.
Jaguars, the Bears, the Vikings, Denver Broncos, and
Broncos a little surprising too.
The Raiders, who made the playoffs.
Well, they have an interim.
Technically don't have they have an interim, yeah.
Right, and they may hire him as the next head coach. He's doing very well.
Yeah. So we'll see. I'm sure there's some more cuts still to come. We'll see over the next couple of days. But
hey, it's a little off football, but there was a manager hired today that raised a few eyebrows.
Well, hold on, wait. Before we get to that, let's talk about this head coach situation here, because one of these head coaches, the Jags, have interviewed 2 of our coordinators. They interviewed Todd Bowles and Byron Leftwich. By the way, class act from Todd Bowles, by the way, who's been a head coach, with the Jets. Todd Bowles was coaching Byron Leftwich on head coaching, questions and stuff like that they may ask him. So, this is a guy who I just thought that was a really cool move, by him. He's like, cool. Hey, whoever they're going to pick, they're going to pick, but here's what you kind of look forward to. So if, I'm with you on the Flores move to Miami, by the way, because that keeps our two guys here, but that is the job, and that is their, hopefully their career path is, succeed here and then move on and become part of the Bruce Arians coaching tree, that's out there.
Sure.
So,
yeah. So Pipper, what did we see today?
We saw a head coach get hired, and it's got local ties. In down in Tampa, the Tampa Tarpons, which is the low A affiliate for the New York Yankees, they hired a new manager. Normally that wouldn't be news, right? A minor league team, especially low A, hiring a manager doesn't really strike the.
But they hire like Pete Rose or something?
No, they hired manager Belkovec. Yeah, the new manager is Belkovec. Rachel Belkovec. That's right. It's a female. 34-year-old hitting coach Rachel Belkovec is now the head manager for the Tampa Tarpons.
So she's been a hitting coach somewhere.
Yes, with the she was a strength and conditioning coach with the Cardinals. Moved on with the Astros. I think she's from Norway or Finland, one of those.
Not for nothing,
countries.
but I'm gonna assume she's never hit a curveball.
She may have. She played softball and she worked with the national team in I can't remember if it was the Netherlands or Finland or Sweden, somewhere.
Okay, wow,
one of those places. But it is quite interesting to where I think we're at a point with athletes and modern day people, men, that you can listen to some instruction from someone that's not the same sex as you, a woman. She's probably very good at studying film and saying, hey, listen, you're keeping your shoulders a little high on the sliders. You're going to want to bring that up a little bit. It's what I'm seeing on the data. So I don't think there's any doubt in my mind that the Yankees wouldn't have hired someone that can do that. If I didn't say this is a Yankees affiliate, that's why I keep saying Yankees. But what I have kind of a problem with, and something I was talking to my ex-Major League Baseball player neighbor is that what is she going to do when the locker room is starting to be, caustic or having some problems? Does she know what a good locker room looks like? What do you say to a guy that's in an 0 for 40 slump?
Oh, I think
is it the right thing?
If she played a sport, even if it was an all-female sport, yeah, she knows what a good locker room should look like.
Maybe, but a baseball, an MLB, a Major League Baseball room, because that's her job, is to get these guys, the Tampa Tarpons, the low A team affiliate, to get them ready for high A affiliate, right? That's
I would have to guess. I would have to guess that there are current managers in Major League Baseball who might not have played on a Major League Baseball roster.
There are no managers who haven't played Major League Baseball. There are some hitting coaches, position coaches, pitching coaches who have come from the college ranks. Matter of fact, that was a point my neighbor brought up, was that there was some friction between him and the pitching coach. I'm not going to say what team, but he came from a college. He was a manager at a college baseball team and came directly over to the Major League team and just didn't have the same respect from the player or the pitchers or from any of the other coaches. Because again, you may have the technical know-how and you may have the book smarts, but you don't have the experience and the grit and the wisdom, right? That's the difference between someone that's done a job for a long time and can relate to someone who's doing the job currently, is that experience and that wisdom. You're going to get tremendous amount of respect. Not to say that respect can't be earned, but that is ingrained.
Here's where she's going to run into a problem.
There's a difference between a mentor and a coach, right? A mentor is, I have sat in your seat. I've walked in your shoes. I've done what you're trying to do, right? A coach isn't necessarily somebody who has done any of those things. A la Byron Leftwich is coaching Tom Brady. Somebody coached Tiger Woods. You look at some of these top performing athletes that their coaches who they will go back and tell you were an integral part of their success have never walked a mile in their shoes. So I think there's a difference between what a coach can accomplish and what a mentor would be able to accomplish. She certainly cannot mentor any of these players from a lot of perspectives, probably from some, but not from a lot of perspectives. But to your point, if it's data driven, if she's looking at the data piece of it and she can get into the mind, so to speak, she could have really good success.
Oh, absolutely.
So I'll tell you that I've in a bunch of the leadership classes that I've taken, and a lot of the leadership classes that I've taken, there's going to be some goods and some bads that are opposite of the typical managers that we've seen in the past. And I think one of the goods that you're going to see is that these leadership classes all show that the female they are really good relationship builders. In companies, you probably have seen that. Be Love and Pooh and Chief, you've probably seen that too. I'm not sure, but they bring that element to the game. You're probably going to see that, and it's building an NFL team, being a coach's player, right? Am I saying that right? A player's coach. Yep. Sorry, a player's coach. Building relationships is huge. You get them on the back; they work harder. I mean, you could really form and build a tight knit community. So that's one thing that I know that a lot of the possibly that could be a positive for a lot of the female coaches that are coming into the league.
So here's how this is going to go bad. Okay. So everyone on that team is an alpha male, every one of them. Okay. And they're going to go in there and they're going to listen to her and she's going to make a mistake. She's going to make a mistake. And as soon as she makes that mistake, it's going to start. They're going to say she's never played. She doesn't know what she's talking about. Softball isn't football. Or softball isn't baseball. Two totally different games. This is not going to work out. This is a PR stunt. And I understand, what B-Love's saying, but the fact of the matter is, if you don't have the seat time, then you don't know what your guys are saying. You just don't. So you cannot. You can try to relate all you want. It's not relationship. It's just, they're going to listen. They'll have to because she outranks them. That doesn't mean they're listening.
Right. And not to mention, these are going to be 17, 18-year-old kids, right? This is low A. This is not your college, catcher out of Clemson who's got all the experience in the world and is next level ready. This is the development project from the Dominican or a high school shortstop that, wasn't first round draft pick. He's a project. So she's going to be in charge of developing these young men. And, listen, I hope she succeeds. I don't have a problem with, what her set, if she stands to pee or not, basically, right? That doesn't offend me. What offends me is that if she was hired as a publicity stunt instead of hiring the best person for the job, that's where I kind of have a problem of just, we're going to do this just to kind of to chickify our organization here, right? The Yankees don't have enough ladies, so we see what Miami's doing. They've got a lady GM. We're going to get a lady coach.
I think there's companies all over the world who are not hiring the best person for the job. And it's not always because of race or sex. It could be a lot of other reasons, but I think that
sure. There's the brother-in-law effect. There's the salary effect.
Yes, there's a lot of those reasons. There's a lot of other
Sure.
factors that go into it, but I think in a lot of places we are not hiring the best person for the job.
Right.
And that's probably worldwide. So anyways, listen, we only got like 6 minutes left and we've got to get into last week's picks and we got to make this week's picks.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
So I imagine we're going to run just a few minutes over here, but Pooh Bear, walk us in.
Right.
What was last week?
Did we decide we're going to finalize the regular season picks? That was it, right?
Yeah, I think we said we were going to do regular season picks, and then we're going to move into because everything starts anew in the playoffs.
Well, okay, so this is the final standings for the year. So last week, me and Matty Ho went 4-0. Chief, you went 0-4.
No, I didn't. I picked the Lions.
And they
and
lost?
I picked the Lions beat the Packers. Oh, they did lose. You're sorry. Yeah.
All right.
I was on desperation mode last week.
Yeah, it was. And B-Love won 3 games. So that brings the final. I've got the final standings here. TSG, thanks for playing. You were in 4th place. 21-30 was your record. I don't know. Maybe show up for work a little bit. You might have better picks.
Everyone knows this
Chief.
is a fraud.
Chief, you must be feeling half and half, a little 50-50. That's where you ended up 27-27. You are in 3rd place, sir. B-Love, your record was 32-21. My record was 30-24. Congratulations, you won.
Listen, I won even though you guys screwed me one week.
Oh, whatever.
Hey, feel my pain.
You did me like TSG one week, and I still won.
Hey, you got to show up for work to have the input.
So TSG,
Hey, man.
hopefully.
Here you go, B-Love. I'm cool you down, kids. Good job. Yes.
All right. So let's get into this week's pick. We're going to pick all but the Bucs game, right, for the wild card weekend. So first game is Saturday at 4:30. Raiders at Bengals.
Ooh,
I'm taking the Bengals.
Bengals.
Raiders off that hot start. Derek Carr is on fire, going up to Cincinnati to play Joe Burrow. It's going to be cold out there in Cincinnati. Chief's cousin's going to be all jazzed up.
I know. I'm going with my cousin on this one. I'm going Bengals.
All right. B-Love?
I guess I'm going to go Bengals too, although I'm feeling I'm going to go Bengals.
All right, that's a wash. The late game that day is the Patriots at the Bills. Another cold weather game potentially.
What was it again?
Patriots at the Bills.
I'm going to go with the Patriots.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Patriots. I think that they've had a tough couple of weeks, but I think they're better than what they've been showing. And I think the Bills, I mean, these teams have played each other twice already.
In the last 5 weeks.
And they've split it. I'm going to go with the Patriots. I think they pull this one out.
Okay.
Everything I know says I should go with the Patriots, but I'm going to go with the Bills.
I'm going Bills too. You know what? When the weather wasn't crazy, wacky, like in the first game they met, the next game, the Bills put it on them. I think the tide is changing. The Bills believe they can win. That second win was important for them. They're in the playoffs. They're at home, and Bills Mafia is good.
You don't think it's going to be a blizzard? You don't think it's going to be a blizzard in Buffalo on Sunday?
It could be, but it's probably going to be a blizzard in New England too.
If it is a blizzard, then Patriots got a chance.
I too am going with the Bills. I think they've got it. I don't think that Mac Jones has got the experience just yet. All right. First game on Sunday is the 4:00 game. Oh no, well the Bucs are first at 1, but the first game we're going to pick
the Bucs. I picked the Bucs.
Everybody picked the Bucs.
The 49ers at Cowboys. Man, this has got Troy Aikman versus Steve Young written all over it. Man, I'm feeling all nostalgic for some 90s playoff football.
Yes. Man, I think the Cowboys have slipped as of late.
They put up 51 points yesterday.
Hey, don't help them. Don't help them.
I haven't picked anything yet. I'm just saying. I'm not making. So yes, they had a good day yesterday. Listen, there was a time not so many weeks ago that the only loss this team had was to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They went on an awesome run, but the back half of the season hasn't been great for them. I feel like San Francisco has a little bit of momentum. For whatever reason, out of maybe just elation for what they did for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers yesterday, I want to get behind them, and I'm going to go Niners.
Okay. That is a potential matchup for the Buccaneers if they both win.
Yes.
And I would not like to see the Buccaneers play the 49ers. They are up and coming, and I think they're going to do some damage here in these playoffs. That's why I'm going to pick them. Going on the road in Dallas.
You're picking the Niners?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. I go in Cowboys.
All right.
I think they're playing too well. I think they're too efficient. I think Cowboys.
Chief.
I think the Cowboys are probably I think they should be the most feared team in the NFC. I don't think they are. I think that goes to the Packers. But the Cowboys, really good football team. That's what I'm going with.
Okay.
They're also really good at choking in the playoffs.
Yeah, they are.
Mike
All
McCarthy.
Right. In the Sunday night dessert game, you've got the Steelers at the Chiefs. Is there anybody that thinks the Steelers have a chance?
Well, they got a chance. They've got a chance.
Listen, here's the thing. Here's the thing about the Chiefs. You go back and watch tape of this show, however many weeks ago, I think 5-6 weeks ago, we were talking about how much of a dumpster fire the Kansas City Chiefs were. At one point, they did not have a winning record during the season. They have poured it on the back. I fear them right now.
So you're going Steelers?
I feel they are the better team in the AFC right now. So I'm going Chiefs.
Okay.
The momentum in the playoffs matters.
It does. Playing at home in Kansas City in the world's second loudest stadium matters too.
I will say this. The Steelers have an advantage, and that is Roethlisberger knows this is last year. He got nothing to lose. He's not going to come back next year. He's just going to.
Really?
He's going to. Yeah, he's retiring.
No, nobody. He's never said that.
Yes, he did.
No, he didn't.
Yes, he
He
did.
hasn't said that yet.
Nope. He said it's my last game as a Steeler.
What's that?
It's his last game as a Steeler.
He's not going anywhere else.
He said he was retiring.
He has never said he's retiring. He has not said that.
I disagree.
Not one bit.
All right, potato, let's go.
All right, so I go with the Chiefs anyway.
You're going with the Chiefs?
Yeah.
After all that.
Yeah. Wow. That's the buildup, you know.
I'm going with Mike Tomlin and the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Oh. On the road in Missouri.
Listen, I would like it. I want to see that. That's what I want to see.
You want the chaos.
Yes. What I think is going to happen, or what I know is going to happen, is the Chiefs are just going to be too dominant.
Walk all over them. All right. In the Monday night.
Well, hold on.
Final
Did you
game.
go Chiefs?
What? Yeah.
Did you go Chiefs too? No,
yes.
I missed that one.
The final game is on Monday night. It is the Cardinals at the Rams. This could be a shootout as well.
So let me tell you what I love about this game. I don't want to play either one of them.
Yep.
And one of them is going home. So it's one less we got to worry about, right? I'm actually gonna take the Cardinals over the Rams. I think again the Rams took a gut punch on Sunday. They did not show that they could finish. They've had a couple of games this season that they did not show that they could finish. And I think the Cardinals are a really good football team.
They have been.
That's who I got.
All right. Well, I'm gonna be there right there with you. I think the Cardinal. I think Stafford has thrown. I think he's thrown like 14 picks in the last 3 games or something. He's got a little Jameis Winston in him right now.
Yeah.
So I think the Cardinals are gonna be able to take advantage of that.
You know what the good news about Jameis Winston is?
He's sitting at
home. He keeps both teams in the game.
Oh gosh, he does keep both teams in the game. All right, TSG, who you got?
So, he's
looking at stats. Look at him.
What's that?
Stats guy. He's living up to his name right there.
Mm-hmm.
No, I am living up to my name, but I'm actually looking at the Cardinals beat the Rams already once. And the time that they lost, I believe that the Cardinals quarterback was out. So I'm going to go with the Cardinals.
Oh, all right.
And I'm hoping that the Rams get put out for the Bucs' sake.
I'm going with the Rams. I'm going with the Rams.
Okay. Chief coming off of an 0-4 weeks, going with the Rams and the Steelers.
Right.
Well, there was some strategy to his 0-4 week last week.
Yeah.
There was.
I'm going to defend Chief. I'm going to defend Chief here a little bit because I think had he not had to make drastic moves last week, he probably comes in second place.
Hey, no risk it, no biscuit. I got the biscuit.
Yeah, you second place biscuit. It's a first place loser.
Whatever.
Hey, if you ain't first or last.
That's it, man.
Right.
If you ain't first or last. sometimes
And I'm
fortune
last.
favors the bold. Not always. Sometimes.
Not always.
So,
Yep.
all right, guys.
All right.
Listen, we got kickoff.
So, hey, real quick, we got to do that. Who do you got tonight in the national championship game? We left 2 weeks in a row. We left no time to talk about it. Pooh Bear, who do you got?
There's no way I'm betting against Saban. I think Georgia is the better team, but my goodness, Nick Saban's got some sort of magic dust in his pockets. He sprinkles on his players right before the game, and they go off and win.
TSG?
Come here, babe. They're asking who's going to win this Georgia-Alabama game.
Oh, God. I can't even believe you're asking that.
I'm going to sing it to you, boys. Georgia.
Come on, Pat. I love it.
Yeah, baby. I got to back my wife, man, even though I'm a Gator fan, which is like our rival, but they're out, so.
Chief, what do you got?
I got Alabama. Not all the way, man. It's going to be sad over at the TSG house tonight. So
I'm gonna listen. I think that Georgia learned some things from this last game, and I think they were embarrassed. I think they thought they were on their way to a perfect season, and they got derailed by Alabama. And so I got Georgia tonight. I think I don't even think it'll be all that close.
Oh, okay.
Here's the other factor. Here's the other factor is the number of players from Alabama that have chose not to play in the national championship game tonight to protect their draft status.
This could be a factor, but that's where the magic fairy dust comes in. He sprinkles it on the second seat and the second string guy and goes, "You shall now be successful and win us games."
Yeah. Alabama has 2 former NFL head coaches on their staff. Those guys know football.
Hey, Georgia's got a former Alabama coach on their staff.
Yeah.
I'm about to show you guys how to eat dinner.
Fry up some of that pork belly.
Well, that's a great idea. I'm saving that for breakfast now.
Much like the 49ers and Rams, we've gone into overtime and we've outworn our welcome. We apologize for that, but thank you for staying with us as long as you did. We'll be back next Sunday at 7 p.m.
Hopefully victorious.
Oh, my gosh.
Victory. Let's go, Bucks. Playoff season. It is pool jumping season. One of us should be wet by the time we come online.
Yeah, I'm heating up that pool.
Sit back and enjoy that national championship game, and we will see you again next week. Say goodnight, Chief.
Like and subscribe.
Good night.